They say the draft starts down in Mobile at the Senior Bowl. If Croc and I are both going to be there this year, who else is going to take their invite and try to show out at the game that kind of sets up the entire draft process? Today on Locked On NFL Draft.
You are Locked On NFL Draft, your daily podcast covering the NFL Draft. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to another episode of the Locked On NFL Draft Show. I'm your host, former NFL and AFL defensive back, Eric Crocker. And of course, as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Ryan Tracy from Rogue Analytics and Locked On Chiefs. I'm Eric Crocker from Locked On 49ers, and you can find me on Twitter at Eric_Crocker. You can find Ryan at Ryan Tracy NFL on Twitter. And we want to let you know that today's episode of Locked On NFL Draft is presented by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is a daily fantasy made easy. Pick 2 to 5 players, and if they score more or less than their PrizePicks projections, you can win up to 10 times your money on your entry. First-time users can receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with the promo code Locked On. That's PrizePicks.com. Promo code Locked On. Ryan, the college football season is about to end, and we are creeping ever so slowly towards where the draft starts. And we know what that is. That is in Mobile, Alabama. I'm going to be there. You're going to be there. This will actually be my second time now. It's my second time. I went last year. It was fun. It was exciting. You get to see the guys. It rained. That part was not fun, being out there in that rain. But really good stuff, and you get to see a lot of young talent. And I think right now we got to start with some of these running backs who have said that they'll be there. And I want to start by talking about a guy, Tyjae Spears, running back out of Tulane. He just kicked my USC Trojans butt, ran for over 200 yards. On top of that, I mean, just 4 touchdowns, super impactful. And some of these guys you don't hear a lot of throughout the year. And maybe we should have, because Tulane, they lost 2 games all year. And maybe that's a team where they're like, well, why haven't you been watching this? Why don't you know more about us? Why don't you know more about Spears, the little speedster out of Tulane and what he's doing? They won a lot of games there, 12-2, I believe, on the year. But let's talk about, one, what he did to end the year. And then, 2, just I'll tell you his skill set, and then you let me know how that translates to the NFL. All right. So his last however many games it says, 151 yards, 125 yards, 157 yards, 130 yards, 121 yards, 181 yards, 199 yards. And then he saved his best for last. 205 yards against USC. I mean, this is a guy that has been running rampant, running crazy, but he's not the biggest of guys. And we talked about Deuce Vaughn, and this guy isn't short like that, but he's listed at 5'10", 195 pounds, super explosive. We talked about having that one special skill in the NFL. Maybe he was just coming in, being a late round pick, being a running back or a kick returner, whatever it is. But how are the NFL teams going to utilize this kid's speed?
Well, it all depends. And I got a buddy named Charlie lives out there. Shout out to Charlie. Not far from the Tulane campus. Maybe I'll have him actually go take a tape measure around campus, see what we can find. Because if that 5'10" is really like 5'9.5", great. If that 5'10" is 5'8", well, that changes everything. Much like we talked about, Deuce, it makes it harder. Now, breakaway speed is irreplaceable. You don't have that. You don't have that. There's no faking it. There's no trying to make it up. You can't train that in. You either got it or you don't. Technique is for the 40. It's not for the field. But that said, when you got it, you do. So there's always going to be a place. Maybe kick return is something. I don't know. I have not been able to watch him live, so I don't know if that's built in there. The next thing to be checking off the list is pass pro. If you can do those 2 things, you, A, can get yourself a roster spot in the NFL, and B, you can get yourself a chance to work in 2 downs, getting reps, and then you have a chance to show that speed. So I think, again, this running back position, as we go through time, it's getting harder and harder to place just what the value is for not the league, but each individual team, because it just takes one, right? So where do you think he belongs in given the skill set that he's shown?
I mean, I think we'll know more when we watch him at the Senior Bowl. How does he stack up, against these running backs? Linebackers. Is he able to beat these guys in space? What does the vision look like in a more NFL offense, right? And you start to see, I know last year watching the Lions and the Jets, who both teams looked to turn it around, then the Jets started kind of going one way, and then the Lions start going the other way. All right, but shout out to those two teams. But watching them, guys were under center. And how many times have a lot of these guys played with a quarterback that's under center? And, okay, you got outside zone, and you're reading that and being patient with linemen that you haven't worked with. And I kind of like that, seeing how different guys figure it out. So for me, obviously we'll find out more about where he's going to go or have an idea of how he stacks up to the competition there, because there are going to be some really good backs there that we're going to talk about throughout this episode. But McIntosh and some of these other guys. Matter of fact, let's get to some of those other guys on the other side here. All right, so keep it locked right here. And before we get to some of those guys, let's talk to you a little bit about the good folks over at BetOnline. And BetOnline.net is your number one source for all of your sports betting information, stats, news, and analysis. Get the latest odds and trends for every professional and amateur league out there, from pro football to college bowl season to the basketball World Cup. We've got it all at BetOnline.net. And if you love sports, I'm sure you do. That's why you listen to this podcast, right? You love sports podcasts. You can even find those at BetOnline as well. They are always the fastest and easiest way to get your betting information. All right, head over right now to the website today to use your mobile device to learn more about everything that's going on at BetOnline, where the game starts.
Yeah, it does.
All right, guys, we want to thank you for making Locked On the NFL Draft your first listen the other day, and make sure that we let you know, subscribe to the Locked On NFL podcast and get daily conversations on the biggest NFL stories, plus in-depth analysis on the biggest games with NFL key predictions every Friday and Monday. Local insiders cover the weekend with game-to-game episodes. All right, Locked On NFL, available on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast. Right, are there any other running backs that you're looking forward to seeing at the Senior Bowl? Because guys are starting to, they're accepting those Senior Bowl invites and starting to get ready for that.
They are coming on. We talked yesterday a little bit about Kenny McIntosh. I've been on his train here for a bit. I think that will be a unique experience. There's a lot of good backs here. I haven't been able to watch Chase Brown live, the Illinois back. He's going to be there. Chris Rodriguez is going to be there. The guy that I think has the most potential to raise his draft stock the week in Mobile is Rashawn Johnson. When you're stuck behind Bijan for the last year, you don't get to shine. He's made really good use of his few big moments, right? But I think this is going to be an opportunity to watch this. This guy is great size. He's got great explosion. I think I want to see the vision. I want to see him going up against guys that are going to penetrate the backfield a little bit and see how he handles that a little bit more. I didn't see that in what I got to see live of him. But Rashawn Johnson from Texas is the guy that I think has a big shot to improve his stock.
I like that you talked about Rodriguez, man. I mean, that's a guy who I really like, running back out of Kentucky. And there's something about those power guys. And we talk a lot about these scat backs. We talked about some of these guys that do multiple things. But, man, you watch how this guy, and I talked about at the Senior Bowl, quarterback under center and not running an offense like that. Well, Rodriguez has. And not only has he, once he got back, it was a guy who was really helping carry Kentucky. The offense was very protruded. It wasn't very good, but he was there putting his foot in the ground, getting north right now, running through guys, carrying tacklers, showed, I don't want to say breakaway speed, but he showed necessary speed to be able to run, at least pick up, those, can he get those 10-yard kind of burst plays? I think he can do that, kind of get to the next level. So he's going to be somebody who I'm curious to see what it look like against these guys at the Senior Bowl, some of the best collective group of talent that he'll play against. And again, I know he played in the SEC. I know he played against, all these big-time schools. But Senior Bowl is just a little different. And when you see the best of the best there, guys flying around, I want to see what he looks like. And maybe in a better situation offensively, where at Kentucky he was everything. Who are the receivers? They lost Wan'Dale Robinson. They lost some of these guys. And now you have to be everything. That's pretty tough. Senior Bowl might take a little bit of pressure off of him, and we might even see a better version of what he was. What are your thoughts on maybe Rodriguez?
Yeah, I would love to see that. It's good that you put it that way too. When they lost Kennard the year before, right? They lost Fortner the year before, so they had some change on the offensive line. Maybe this is a chance with everybody starting on a week's practice in Mobile with an even ground for him to really show something even more. And I think we've both been impressed with him to this point, but he's got that in him. Again, a guy that's a little bit undersized, right? At least that's how he feels like on film to me. On video, maybe I'm underestimating. I don't have his dimensions in front of me. It seems to be a theme down there because Evan Hull's there too, the Northwestern running back, another guy that's a little bit smaller. I think that this might be the theme through the whole draft, but certainly who can stand out from that standpoint in Mobile is going to be a good place to start.
It definitely is. A lot of good players there. Are there any other surprise guys that you're kind of looking to see, or guys that you think, can kind of step up either at the running back position or anywhere else on that offense at the Senior Bowl?
Well, I'm intrigued, honestly, on the opposite. I want to see the linebackers that are going to go up against him. Henry To'oTo'o is going to be there, and I think he's going to be the big name, right? Papoi from Auburn's going to be there as well, but it's To'oTo'o that I think I'm really intrigued to see how he can go to the next level. He's super light. He plays at like 225. And for an NFL linebacker to come in and try to do that, I think that's a little bit problematic. Can he shift? Can he line up as a big safety? Can he do the other things? Because I think we've seen his leadership. We've seen him be able to understand his assignment and be in his spot. We've seen him show athletic ability at times. But in trying to corral McIntosh and Spears and all these running backs that we're talking about, I think that's going to be a good showing. And I think he in particular has a lot to either – unfortunately, I don't know that Henry To'oTo'o's got a lot that he can improve his draft stock, but I think he can cross a lot of boxes off to confirm for a lot of teams. I think that's going to be an interesting matchup to watch.
Yeah, we're going to watch the matchup with him and the, 7, 8 other Alabama players that'll be there at the Senior Bowl. There's a ton of them, a lot of talent. I don't know if that's good or bad that Alabama has this many players at the Senior Bowl, because a lot of these guys, Alabama, when you're balling, you come out junior year, you're not even eligible to play at the Senior Bowl. To'oTo'o, who was a transfer from Tennessee, guy who's, I believe, is out of the Bay Area, California, did stay for a senior year, and sounds like it might be for the better. When we come back, maybe we'll talk about some more of those Alabama players and other guys to keep an eye on at the Senior Bowl. But first, we want to talk to you about one of our near and dear friends. Got Built Bar, all right? And if you're looking for a delicious treat, but you don't want all the fat, you don't want all the calories, you got to try Built Bar. And right now, I know what y'all are thinking. New year, new me, you want to get in shape. Well, there's no better way to help that process by snacking on a Built Bar when you feel like you need that nice, good treat. All right, listen, we just got through the holidays, and we know what the goal is. But you got to try Built. You got to try Built. What makes Built Bar so good? Well, for starters, they're covered in 100% real chocolate. That's right, 100% real chocolate. And they come in unbelievable flavors. You got churro, you got peanut butter brownie, you got coconut almond. I'm not even sure how Built does it, how they make all these amazing tastes and flavors, and it tastes really sweet, but it just does it. And the best part about it, only 130 calories and 4 grams of sugar with a whopping 17 grams of protein in this bar. It tastes like a candy bar, but it's much healthier than that. And now you don't need to wait around for a box, because guess what, y'all? Guess what? I've been waiting on this. Maybe y'all. I don't have to go on the website and order it anymore. I can actually go to my local Walmart or Sam's Club. That's right. Head to your nearest Walmart today, which, listen, I live in Monticello, Arkansas. Monticello, Arkansas, little town, 10,000 people. We have one place to shop. That is Walmart. And now I can go there and grab a Built Bar. All right. So go get you that. You got the cookies and cream. You got the double chocolate. You got the coconut puffs. And if you are close to Sam's Club, run in and grab a 13-box with our hit flavors, brownie batter, churro, and guess what, guys? You can thank me later. You're going to love it, and it's going to help you get in shape. Go to Built.com or Walmart or Sam's Club. Ryan, anyone else stand out to you on that Senior Bowl list?
I mean, Nick Saban's got half the team going down there, right? The thing that stands out to me, you mentioned it before the break too. If you're a junior and you're coming out like Brian Branch, you're not eligible, right? So there's one safety from Alabama who can't go do this. But Helms is going, Jordan Battle's going. So like there's 3 safeties leaving that program. It's gonna be a plethora. I'm eager to see those guys stand up and be compared, honestly, rep by rep, to Chris Smith, who's a guy that I think is really coming on. Sorry, Christopher Smith, Georgia fans. Yep, I know I'm supposed to remember that. He and Devin Witherspoon are 2 other guys that I really want to see down there. Illinois defenders are going to be almost as plentiful as Alabama defenders in the DB ranks because Sidney Brown's going to be there as well. I'm really interested to see who can step out and separate themselves. We saw Petrie really make an impression on us last year, right? The Senior Bowl was kind of like the confirmation of what Jalen Petrie can become, and I think we're all really happy with his rookie season. Who's going to stand out from that group? Do you have a feel for who you think could do it?
Well, I'm hoping that's a guy by the name of JL Skinner. I mean, this is a 6'4", big body, defensive back, long, athletic playmaker, and I really want to see him put that on full display. There was a guy that we got to watch there last year, Tariq Woolen out of UTSA, 6'4", 205-pound cornerback. How long and lengthy he was, and obviously he went to the combine, blew it away. JL Skinner, I don't know if he's going to blow away the combine, but his size is going to be intriguing. I think the more intriguing part is also going to be, where does he play? And that was some of the conversation about Jalen Petrie last year. Where's Jalen Petrie going to play? He's a guy who played a lot in the nickel spot for Baylor. At the Senior Bowl, he was playing in the nickel as well. He played some safety. They did some man-to-man stuff. You got to watch that. I want to see that with JL Skinner. And what does that actually look like when he's playing against some really good talent? So I think that's one of the guys who I am expecting to do very well. But I'm definitely intrigued with how exactly are they going to utilize him and who's going to look like the better safety between him and Jordan Battle at Alabama. I mean, I think that's going to be something very, very, very intriguing to watch as well.
Yeah, I think when it comes down to the one advantage that I think Skinner might have over everybody else is if we do get the monsoon weather we got last year, he's played through snow, rain, everything out in Boise, so he's got a little bit of an advantage there. Now, if it's just hot and dry, or hot and humid, I guess it doesn't really get dry in Mobile. Never mind, sorry folks. Maybe it is the guys that are from the South or played in the South that have the advantage here. I think it's very, very different who's coming into there and what they're used to and who's going to stand out.
Yeah, there is an offensive lineman out of North Dakota State. I feel like between not just NDSU, but really a lot of the FCS, man, they're having these guys that are they're just gritty and they're grinders and they're big maulers. And I think Cody Mock, I mean, he's just another one of those guys who we're going to get to see him out there. Where are they going to play him? And watch how nasty he can get against some of the better competition that he'll face. Because, I mean, listen, I think the FCS level gets very disrespected. People call it Division II. Trust me, I played at a D2. You guys see that helmet behind me. If you're watching on YouTube right now, you see both those helmets behind me. That's a Division II school. North Dakota State would kick our butts. They're not D2. They, one, are Division I AA, FCS, huge difference. But also, D1s are scared to play these guys. Like, they don't even want to play North Dakota State. They don't want to play some of these high-level guys. So it's very disrespectful to call them D2, but these offensive linemen that they're pumping out, they're pretty dang good, man. And I feel like they're guys who have played 4 years because FCS, you don't see a lot of guys just leaving early, but they're playing 4 years. They're grinding it out. They're learning a lot. They're coming in extremely mature, and I think Cody Mock is going to be another one of those guys.
Yeah, and I think that's in some ways a real advantage. A lot of the stories that we've gotten from the FCS guys over the last few years is that they grew a lot, that they weren't quite prime time, that they didn't have the full-grown body when it came to signing their senior year, so they had to grow into it. And so that gives them more experience, and it gives them more development time, gives them more coaching time. And I agree with you. It gives them an advantage in terms of being adaptable, being coachable. You prove that. The nasty, I think, comes after. And I think, we've had some examples the last couple of years that have really made that their calling card. I don't know if that's Mock. I haven't been able to see much on him. Hopefully he brings some film with him and we can sit down and have a session because NDS is hard to find on film.
Yeah, they definitely are. And one more guy that I just kind of wanted to bring up a little bit, man, Tank Dell, smaller receiver, but he's quick. He's twitched up. And I just want to see how are guys going to cover him. One-on-ones, everybody gathers around to watch that. They want to see what these guys look like. Are they separating at the receiver position? What do the defensive backs look like? How are they covering guys? And when you watch Tank Dell, man, and his quick feet, his separation skills, his just understanding how to set defensive backs up, win with leverage. I mean, he did a lot of that at the University of Houston, and I think that's something that's going to continue. He's going to give these guys fits at the Senior Bowl, especially these DBs, man. You got to be out there, all eyes on you. Quick story. I had NFL workouts, and I've done workouts, my whole life, right? You work out with the buddies, you do these different things, backpedal, break. It's the same stuff, and you get better at it, etc. I went to an NFL workout for the first time, and it was nerve-wracking, I think is a better way to say it, because all eyes are on you. You know that everyone in this building is watching your every step, your every move. And I think even then, there's just, at least you could be a little bit more comfortable because, everybody's phones aren't out. At the Senior Bowl, there's 1,000 phones out. Everybody's watching every play. So when you're doing one-on-ones, when you lose, it's not just the scouts that see it. It's not just the GMs that see it. It's not even just, it's Nagy who sees it. It's everybody. Everybody sees it. Everybody on social media. You will go viral. And even if you're not getting beat all day, but everybody's going to show that one play you did get beat, and they're going to say, oh, he had a bad Senior Bowl week. So it might be even more nerve-wracking to do one-on-ones at Senior Bowl than to actually have your audition during the workout for the NFL when you have 70 front office guys watching. So I think watching Dale, that's going to be something that's extremely fun to watch, and how the defenders try to play against him, a guy who is quick twitch out in space.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see who can line up and hold their own against that kind of change of direction in particular.
Yeah, we're going to see that and much more at the Senior Bowl. We want to thank you for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen today. And for your second listen, check out Locked On NFL Podcast, bring you the local insights you love on the national spotlight. It's just out there, right? With the daily conversations, the biggest NFL storylines, Locked On NFL. They are available on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast. But that's going to do it today from Ryan Tracy at Ryan Tracy NFL on Twitter, and Eric Crocker at Eric_Crocker. I almost call myself Ryan. We're just together that much, but at Eric_Crocker on Twitter. We're back tomorrow with more draft content. Let's go. We're out. Peace.